Hello, this is Michael Ewer, and I'd like to invite you to the Michael Ewer Show, featuring student hosts and very special guests talking about a variety of interesting topics. You can find us on the Eagle Stream YouTube channel. Good evening and welcome to the Michael Ewer Show. We have such a great lineup of guests today, and I'm going to say welcome to Emily Grant from the North Carolina Museum of History, to Alexander Blades, who's a student at Wake Tech, new, and he told me he was an Afro-Latino, so that's why I wanted him up here. Jennifer, I'm skipping around, Jenny Aguilar. She was been on the show before. She is a student at Wake Tech, and she is part of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council, but you'll hear more from her. And then we have our two great student co-hosts, Todd Hewitt, and he's getting ready to graduate. And then Damien Johnson, this is his first semester, and he is an associate engineering major, and he's working on an intern. I'm gonna let them tell you more. And he also made all A's and 1 B, so congratulations. So Jerry, at this time, I want you to, Jenny, let's let you talk about DEI. Jenny.
Yeah, so my name is Jenny. I am in the DEI. I am in the Success work group along with the Workforce Initiative work group, and then I'm also in SGA. And with DEI, we think it's so important that we talk about Black History Month, other cultural history months, to bring awareness, especially with marginalized communities, to give our students voices and to give our students a space to feel proud about themselves while they're learning, and to, learn. So I definitely am super happy to be a part of the DEI work groups and success groups and stuff like that, so I can learn more about just different cultures and different places. But yeah, I know we have some events coming up, I think, on campus, and I think those can be found on the campus calendar.
Thank you, Jenny. And we're getting ready to leave, Jenny and I think Jerry's going to share a little bit of music for you from a previous Michael Ewer show with Freddie Green. And Freddie Green is going to be one of the performers at this year's African American Cultural Celebration, which is the statewide kickoff for Black History Month. That's what this show is about. And then David Kwan, who's a former student of mine, who's now at NC State working on his master's in aerospace engineering. He has been to the event, he's volunteered at the event, and he's been to the museum several times. And I want people to know that I love including people like Jenny and David, because this event is for everybody. It's not just for African Americans, it's for everybody. And it's a great cultural event. So I am gonna say, Jerry, go ahead and play the music. And when it's over, David will be here and Obelia will be here from the North Carolina Museum of History. Ready, Jerry?
Ooh. Hello, welcome
everybody. Welcome to the Michael Ewer Show. I think we're missing Kwan, right? He's supposed to also be in here.
Yeah. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for David,
how are you, Mr. Yeah. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm wonderful. I had to smile as I was listening to that saxophone. I just thought, oh my God, that was the most soothing sound.
It was, wasn't it? It was
oh my God. I thought, oh my God, it just took me to a place right while I was sitting here. So yeah, I'm good. I'm great. Thank you so much, and so excited to be here.
Of course, thank you so much for coming up here and just giving us a little bit of your time today. We're gonna, while we wait for Mr. Kwan and everything, we can still continue. So the first thing we're gonna do, everybody, is just do a little bit of round of introductions, a little icebreaker, just to get everybody acquainted. So I'll start off. My name's Damien Johnson. Like Mr. Ure said, I am a student here at Wake Tech. It's my second semester. Right now, I am in the Associates of Engineering. I do a START internship. And to be on topic with what we're talking about today, I actually recently went to, I don't know if I should call it a session, orientation, a gathering at the NC Museum of History. And I got to meet, obviously, Taj. I met Miss Grant here. I don't know if I met Miss Blades or not, but I met, obviously, a lot of the staff there, the board members. It was a great time. We had like harp music and other stuff. It was amazing. I guess that's really everything about me. So I'll let somebody else go. Todd, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, definitely. Alongside Damien, I'm also one of the hosts for the show. And just like him, I was also at the reception at the NC Museum of History in December, hosted by actually Emily Grant. And it was wonderful, Miss Grant. Thank you for that again.
We're so glad y'all were there.
Yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, I'm also a student at Wake Tech and studying agricultural engineering. This is my last semester, and looking forward to this evening with you. Alexander.
I'm Alexander. This is my second semester at Wake Tech. I'm a part-time student because I work full-time. I work for the food bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina. I am studying to be a transfer student for the Associate of Arts. I eventually want to go to a 4-year for HR management. And it's so nice to meet everyone.
All right, and you're up next, Miss Obelia.
Obelia Exum here. A graphic designer for the North Carolina Museum of History, a supervisor. And I've been here for quite a while now. So I could go ahead and say at least 25 years plus. I think I could put that out there. So it's really been interesting. I've said this before, and I'll see if I can cover it all. We cover here in graphic design, branding for the North Carolina Museum of History. We do collateral work. We do signage, banners, you name it. And also online work. So when we're asked to present things for social media, that sort of thing, we create and we crank that work out. So it's just always exciting to still be here at the Museum of History, contributing and helping the museum to putting my part in there that our team does, just helping the museum to shine even more. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've got the advisory team. I'm on there as well.
Yeah,
so that's part of it, and that's part of the celebration. Thank you.
And still staying on you, Miss Obelia, could you actually explain to us a bit more about the design process that you are?
Is he still there, or has he cut out?
Oh, did you say the design process?
Yeah, I think he was going to, but he might have cut out. Are you still there, Taj?
No, but I did. So,
Miss Grant, you got to
saying,
go ahead.
Saying to if you could explain the design process in the AACC board.
And just as far as I'm concerned, because I am part of that committee, being the in-house graphic designer, and I've got Emily listening. So if I miss a step, let me know, Emily. But usually when we have board meetings, the board members, and I'm sure Emily can cover a lot of that part, typically comes up with a theme. And my part simply is, as I'm attending meetings and just actually enjoying what we're doing as a board in the community, which is really exciting. I typically take an idea back to my desk, listening to all the ideas that the board members come up with. We're writing those ideas down, coming back saying visually, what does that look like? And in the format that we usually use for celebrations, in the layout that we have. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And listening to how the board members are expressing themselves. Because I was actually talking to Emily this evening about hearing a specific look or seeing a specific, hearing what people are saying and then going back to the board saying, here are some ideas, listening to what you're saying you're looking for that we've come up here, that I've come up with here in graphic design. And so I usually listen, go back to my sketch board, thanks to, shout out for the advisory board, the leader there, because they're constantly saying, here's what the team said that they're looking for. And so I'm able to just take those words back and actually come up with, I would say that I typically come up with, say, maybe about 3 creative concepts at least. And I've been known to come up with more than that, right, Emily?
Yes.
Yeah, but I usually come up with at least 3 creative concepts on the subjects that the team is bringing to fruition. And I didn't talk as much about how what those subjects are. But whatever that is, go back to my desk, create a draft of what that could be brand wise. And I take that back to the team, and the team discuss it. They look at it and they decide which one of these 3 concepts they would like. And then they suggest some things that they perhaps like to see tweaked, or some things they perhaps like to see added. And I take that sketch back to my desk and those ideas back, and I regenerate, come back up with another look.
And how long would you say it takes you from
to actually get all of that done, to get that done? Oh, yeah. I really throw my heart into my work, and I love saying I throw my heart into it. And I try to come up with the richest ideas that will evoke a certain experience of feeling, to getting out from the board and this museum what we'd like to present. And the reason I threw that in there, someone recently told me that my work is also like real artist work. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way. They said, I see you can sow some soul and spirit into it. And I said, that's really who I am. So I have to cut it short a lot of times when I'm doing graphic design, because that's got to be just sharp, neat, clean, conceptual, and easy to reprint, reformat, different shape sizes. So all of that's to say, I guess just in the conceptual size, maybe there's a long period in there, sort of. But I say coming up with the sketches in the very beginning, that may be, if I had 8 hours to put on that and just the 3 ideas in the very beginning, I may spend that long. But I'll throw out there, say maybe 6 hours to create those concepts and come back to the team. Say maybe the second stage, 6 to 8 hours. It just takes me a while to get it done. And that's just a preliminary or the beginning, because I really like to put some heartfelt, you're going to have to feel something when you look at these sketches and these ideas.
You know, I'm sure when the event comes up, we are definitely going to feel something once we look at them. Thank you so much, Miss Obelia. That was great. It definitely seems like it takes a lot of trial, a lot of error, and a lot of like perspective and thought that goes into it just to make sure you have the right thing. So thank you so much.
I should do it in 3, but I was being honest.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You guys, if you have any questions or anything like that, don't forget you can always drop them in the chat for Miss Obelia or anybody else up here. And so moving on, I wanted to talk to Miss Grant, if that's okay with her. Could you please go through, you know, the process of coming up with like a theme for an event like this, and walk us through the little schedule of events that you have planned, because it seems like between you and Miss Obelia there's a lot that has to go into it in terms of timing and working.
There is a lot. Yeah, thanks for having us on and kind of getting the behind the scenes about how these events are created. I tell people they are one-day events, but it takes 364 days for our 1-day event to happen. We actually, as y'all mentioned, we have an advisory board of about 15 to 20 members, and they serve typically 3-year terms. They're just from a whole host of places and experiences across the state. Your own Michael Ure has been on the committee for several seasons as Obelia. So we have folks from different parts of the state. They meet every month, year round. So really, as soon as one event wraps up, we meet the next month in February, evaluate how it went. We start talking about the next year, and I think that is what makes the event so rich, is because there's a lot of thought that goes into it, a lot of discussion about where are we in this moment? What are the issues that people are thinking about, or are worried about, are impacting our communities? And who are those people that are creating creative change? Who are the artists that have been doing what they've been doing in the traditional sense, that are upholding historical traditions that we want to make sure we maintain, as well as who are those movers and shakers, young folks that are really making a difference and changing how we see ourselves and how we move in the world. And those are some of the really, as Obelia has talked about, the richness of her design. That's really how we come up with a theme, is people starting by listening to their own communities, thinking about the people that they interact with, what people are talking about, people they've seen throughout the year that we really want to incorporate into this particular year. So this year, I think is uniquely special. We laugh because at the end of every event we go, we can never top that one. And then we come by the next year and we're like, well, we could never top that one. To the incredible talent that is in our state. I'm always just awed and proud, really. I know it sounds cliche, to be from North Carolina each year when we showcase whether it's music or dance or authors or spoken word or organizations or nonprofits, chefs and medical professionals. What I love about this event is a little bit of everything. And this year, I started to say is kind of special because we haven't been able to be in person since 2020. And I think this celebration, we call this a celebration. We don't call it a festival, but I think it's truly a celebration of our resiliency, our creativity, our community. And I think we're excited. We're a little nervous, I think, to be together physically, but I think people are really excited about that opportunity to feel that energy that is created by community. And this year's theme, I should have said that, is Pathways to Freedom. And we have a subtext, to learn, to vote, to build. And those were really the themes that were coming up in discussion, in people looking back. It's that idea of Sankofa, of, looking back in order to look forward, and really continuing to highlight that we're not free until everybody's free. And there's a lot of different expressions and feelings about what freedom is. And the avenues and pathways to get to that freedom. And what's kept bubbling up is, there's a lot that's happened in the world for most people personally and locally, nationally, since the last time we were in person. I think there was a lot of discussion about how do we hold on to those pathways and continue to work towards freedom for all. And the ones that kept coming up were education, our ability and access to voting, and also just construction, the legacy of both literal construction of people in our past who've built the structures and systems that we're currently in, and how do we build that community and continue those pathways for folks in the future. So that was a really long answer. I'm not good at the soundbite you figured out, but yeah, so that's what we start with. And then we share those ideas with Obelia as the graphic designer, and she tries to create a visual image of these sometimes really abstract ideas. And I should say, we also just really like to have a good time. So part of it, I mean, this is ultimately it's a celebration, right? And so we tell people this is unlike any event that you've been to, because it really is meant to make you move. You know, it's part entertainment, it's part education, it's part creative energy. It's part like learning and scholarship. It's a little bit symposium. It's a little bit art craft fair. It's a bit of everything. In a sense, bit of everything.
Yeah. I would say, and that sounds like a great, perspective and way for people to jump in and participate as well. Kind of learn some more about the event that's going on and the topic that's behind it, about themselves too. It seems like you guys put a lot of work into it. So I hope that people can kind of reap the benefits. Taj, I think I'm going to lend it over to you if you have anything else you want to say as well.
Yep, and I also wanted to ask you, Miss Emily, who would you say is actually invited to this event? Who would benefit from attending this event?
Everybody.
Everyone.
It doesn't matter your age, your background, if you're from North Carolina or not, if you history, it's all of our history, right? We hope that you see yourself and in it, and we hope that you see something new and different that you just really didn't realize before.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. You're fine.
Speaking about all this, all these lovely things that is going to be happening at the event, I just wanted to ask Mr. Alexander Blaze. I know that you work with your branch of DEI at the food bank. I just wanted to ask, what exactly do you do to help include people in the community?
Well, currently, I'm currently working on a community event calendar. So we would send some of our employees out to the field, to different cultural events and celebrations and things like that, to get to know the community, so that way they can trust us more and it's easier to distribute food. Definitely making sure that I'm reaching out to some of our old clients. I used to be a benefits outreach specialist, and trying to encourage them to come, and I will be there as well with my friends. And later that night, I'm going to the Black Theater performance at Raleigh Little Theater. Just wanted to drop that in there.
Nice.
But I am definitely excited to attend the event. And thank you, Emily and Obelia, for setting this up. This is amazing.
Damien?
Oh, yes, of course. I think we've gone through all the questions from what it sounds like. It's about time for a quick break. So if you guys do have any more questions, you, of course, can drop them in the chat. Like I said, we're going to go for a quick break, and then we're going to also get a video of the Care Center going on. So that should come up once Jerry gets it ready. Thank you, guys.
The Care Center is here to provide wraparound services for our students for when out-of-the-classroom challenges arise. I'm Mike Coleman, Dean of Student Engagement and Impact here at Wake Tech.
My name is Magdalene Christ, and I'm a student at Wake Tech in the Associate of Science program. The Care Center at Wake Tech has been a great hub for resources
such as food, success coaching, technology support, brief mental health counseling, emergency financial assistance, and transportation assistance.
I've gotten a lot of great help with questions and just navigating Wake Tech. If I'm ever having a tough day or a tough time in class, the student success coaches are always there to help me whenever I need it.
Students can connect with us by visiting one of our locations, online at our website, or by email.
So to my fellow students, if you ever need help with anything, the Care Center is your one-stop shop, and I highly recommend.
And most importantly, we are here to support our students and make sure that they soar.
All right, that was great. Make sure you guys drop in and go to the Care Center. We're also going to have if somebody would like to drop the NC Museum link so that we can have it in the chat for everybody.
And so that way we can actually show the schedule and
right, what's going on?
we kind of want that. We need that now.
Yeah. So do you want me to kind of talk it through? I mean, hopefully you can get on our website. It's ncmuseumofhistory.org. You can look under programs and events and festivals, and that'll take you to this link. When you get to the AACC, you'll see as they're scrolling down at the very bottom, there are links to parking, the schedule, how to volunteer, who our sponsors are, who help us put it on, all these kinds of things. So probably what you really want to know, though, is the presentation one. So if you click on the presentations and the schedule, that gives you a rundown of everything that's going on. And people say, well, when's the best time to come? And I say, come early, stay late. Look at the program before you come, because there's a lot going on and nothing repeats. So if there's somebody that you really want to see that's doing a timed presentation and you don't want to miss it, it really helps if you go over the schedule first, see what looks good to you, and plan your schedule around those folks that you want to engage with. Because if they're talking at 10 and you think, oh, well, I'll catch them the next go around, there's so much going on. You really want to get there. We start at 10:30 with a big opening kickoff. We have a procession up the mall. It's led by the Triumph Palace Jonkanu drummers to represent the past. If you've never seen them, you really do need to check that out. And then it's followed, our USCT reenactors, the U.S. Colored Troops reenactors, representing also our past, and African Americans who fought for their freedom in the Civil War. There are flag bearers and the Jonkanu drummers, and then representing the present and the future. This year we've got the Goldsboro Marching Cougars, a high school marching band, and they're going to be tearing it up at the mall. And you will follow in behind them. They'll march into the lobby. We'll have opening remarks by the chair of the Statewide African American Heritage Commission. Dorothea Taylor will be singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. We always start out with the National Black Anthem, and we've got a QR code link this time in the program, so there's no excuse for not knowing the words and following that along. And that link also takes you to the history of that song, how it was written, who wrote it, and the meaning behind the words. So once that happens, then the crowd will be released to all these various sections of the museum and classrooms. So you can go to the auditorium. There's a great lineup of folks there. You can stay in the lobby. There's a smaller lobby stage with performances and musicians and everything from, I think y'all mentioned Winifred Garrett, who's a harpist, to Corey Leak, who's a vocalist, to Freddie Green, who was the saxophonist you heard at the beginning of this, at the beginning of the show, to Dwight Hawkins, who plays everything from the saw to a washboard bass to the bones, the saw, all kinds of traditional instruments. And he'll be featuring traditional blues. We've got Shelton Poe in the auditorium, who's on the Music Maker label. We have the North Carolina Association of Black Storytellers that will be telling stories for 45 minutes, from all storytellers from across the state. We have Solo Works, which is a fabulous modern dance group who will be performing. And I was talking to her today, and she said, I've added a new piece, and there's going to be somebody with an electric violin that's going to need a plug-in, and I'll be doing some narration during a piece. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then if music isn't really where you're at, you can stop in the literature and the spoken word section. And there's everything from Carmen Cothins talking about historic Raleigh and her research on Black neighborhoods. That's going to be really interesting. We've got children's book authors. We've got illustrators. We've got panels, everything from children's board books that like Michelle Lanier wrote a book, to Judy Allen Dodson, who just published a new children's book on Arthur Ashe. So there's really something, for everybody. If you're into literature and the spoken word, we've got a poet, Kalisa Ray, is going to be leading a poetry session with folks. So if that's not enough for you, you can head downstairs to the education room. There's a whole section on history, enterprise, and film. And there's everything from an interview with Sam Lathan, who played with James Brown and with the Monitors. And he'll tell you, he's like, I don't play drums anymore, but he used to really throw it down. He's got some great stories, and just it's a unique opportunity to be able to see him in person. We have Kendrick Ransom and Turquoise Vasquez. They're going to be talking about their Golden Organic Farm and how they've worked really hard to maintain land that's been in their family for generations, to tap into their agricultural roots, and how they can serve communities and be economically viable, to work with handling food deserts and filling in that gap. So that's a really great session to join in. We've got folks that are talking about Uniontown in Beaufort, when it was Union occupied from the beginning of the Civil War, and all of the activities and freedom seeking that was going on there. We also have a session. Cash Michael's going to be talking about the impact of Black newspapers and how important that voice has been and continues to be in really providing a deeper, richer picture than just mainstream media. We've got exhibits. There's a whole section. Historic Halifax has a temporary exhibit on freedom seekers and the Underground Railroad in their area, and that will just be up for the day. The North Carolina African American Heritage Commission has an exhibit called From Africa to the Carolinas, talking about those connections and traditions that were brought over during slavery and the impact on the Carolinas in particular. And that will only be up for that one day. You won't want to miss that. And there's a classroom on education where you can learn about, a lot of people know about our HBCUs, that North Carolina has the largest number of HBCUs in the country. But a lot of people don't know about a lot of these smaller institutions like the Laurinburg Institute, the Peabody Academy, how education at every level has been and continues to be really critical in those pathways to freedom for folks. And we'll have a session on that. That session actually has two components. You can go to one or both, but definitely get connected to Bishop McDuffie and Brookshire Harris as they are talking about how to keep Black education really vital moving forward. We have a section on food, health, and beauty. We've got James Beard finalist, Greg Collier, who for you lucky folks that went to the reception, got a little taste of his work and how he uses food as his expression of North Carolina history and culture. He'll be doing a cooking demonstration. We'll also have Chef Eric Marshall who'll be here. So some really nationally known chefs talking about their own story and how food helps tell all of our stories. And then in health, we've got someone who's talking about African-American doulas. We have someone who is sharing her story, her family's story about the impact of sickle cell anemia, and how that has changed her individual's family stories and how to help others in confronting that particular disease. And if you don't want to sit in a session, you can wander around all day long. We'll have basket maker Neil Thomas, who's a Heritage Award winner. We'll have Warren Goodson, who is a wood carver and a painter. We have a whole host of painters, a hat maker, wire artist, all sorts of folks that you can engage with. And if you bring your pocketbook, you can purchase some things to take home, or you can join in one of the hands-on crafts. We've got tissue paper hat making, we've got Adinkra stamp making, all that is going on, and it's all free. And then I haven't even talked about the information tables, but then there's all sorts of information tables and agencies where you can find out you can vote is going to be there, helping register people to vote. I don't know. What have I left out? Obelia, help me out. There'll be food vendors on the mall. There's a Black Farmers mini market. Julius Tillery will be here with Black Cotton. And we've got the Cupcake Fairy who's bringing their truck. We've got Soul Bachi. We've got Lee's Kitchen with Jamaica food. That you can purchase. And so stay for lunch, come early. Like I said, join the procession, grab some food on the mall, check out the farmer's market, buy a cupcake, come back in, sit in on some sessions, but just come and enjoy.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Emily, for explaining this long schedule, and it was
that was a handful.
Take a breath now, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot for us to digest. A lot for us to digest, pun intended.
I think that there's stuff for literally everybody. You guys, you need to. After that, you guys definitely need to go. We have some questions in the chat that I know you guys have been caking up for us. Podge, go ahead and take us off.
And also to our viewers at home, remember that if you need to go to that link, it is in the chat. So you can just scroll up in the chat and you'll find the link to everything that Miss Emily was just talking about. Mm-hmm. And so right now we are going to move into some questions from the chat. First one being from Mr. Rashid Graham. And we know that the Museum of History has this event going on. It's going to happen. And many other events for the year. But he's asking, being new to NC, I continue to find it amazing that the museums here in Raleigh are free. Aside from state/federal funding, where does the financial support come from? Angel donors, perhaps?
That's really a great question. Thank you for your question, Rashid, because yes, this is free to the public, but it is not free to put on. I'm usually pretty transparent about finances. It usually takes about $50,000 to put this on, $50,000 to $60,000, and we really depend. Yes, we are blessed. We are really, really fortunate in the state of North Carolina that a long time ago, our legislature decided that they would fund the North Carolina Museum of Art, the North Carolina Museum of History, and the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, and that those would be museums for the people. That being said, the state money keeps the doors open and the light bill paid. But anything that is programmatic, like festivals like this, require private funding and sponsorships and grants. And we are so fortunate that the Raleigh Arts Commission, we apply for a grant from them each year. This year, we've gotten support from the North Carolina Black Alliance, from PNC, from Wake Med, from AARP, from Publix, from Bridgestone, from M&F Bank, from Smithfield Chicken and Barbecue, from Cheesy Healthcare, from United Therapeutics, from Refty Homes, from Curry Healthcare, and from Oasis. So those are just a few of the sponsors, and we really welcome sponsorship. That donations really range from a couple of $100 all the way up to $15,000, $20,000, based on certain folks often like to, maybe the health agencies would like to support what we're doing focused around health. And we've had, writers groups who would like to contribute specifically to literature and the spoken word. A lot of the larger corporations like PNC are just happy to be a part and sponsor the event in general. We also are very lucky that we have some relationships with businesses who give us a lot of in-kind, either advertising or discounts on printed materials, things like that. And that's really what makes it possible. Mm-hmm. Is I feel like the public radio station, but for participants like you, and businesses who have come out to the event. And another way people give is volunteering. We have the Deltas always come out in force and help us manage staffing all the craft activities, helping people find their way. Over 3 floors of activities in a somewhat confusing building. We have folks that help with hospitality and just all kinds of things. So it really is, I tell people, it's a community event in every possible way, from the advisory board to the volunteers. I mean, to folks like y'all. We really appreciate you inviting us on the show and helping us get the word out so that people are able to take advantage of it.
Of course. Thank you so much for being here. You answered a lot of our questions. And just to reiterate, you guys, make sure you really show up that day. We want to see everybody there. I think it's going to be great. There are some comments that we do have left that you kind of went over. Yeah, where they just say thank you, of course, like that. I think somebody answered about the volunteers as well. So you guys can come out there. You can volunteer later on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When they were scrolling through the website, if you get on the website and get on the event page and you scroll all the way down, one of the boxes is a volunteer box. So you can still volunteer. I'll be, putting that schedule and getting that information out really next week. But even if you decide at the last second, the day before, whatever, we can make you a name tag. We love to put people behind the tables and get people involved, because I think Obelia would agree with me. Once you come once, you get it. And it's every year it's a different lineup. Every year it's again, it just speaks to the incredible diversity of talent that we have in this state. It's just, I challenge you to come and not be engaged and learn something and just feel really good when you leave.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure everyone that decides to show up on the day will have a very good time. It's just 6+ hours of pure joy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. I know it is. I guess it's about time to do some of these closing statements. We can start off with Ms. Grant since you just finished. I know you've been talking a lot. You probably want to stop. So we'll start off with you. Just give a short little closing statement to everybody that you might want them to know either about you or about the event, and then we can keep moving on through all of us.
Thanks for coming. This is the 22nd annual. I hope with folks like y'all, as Obelia and I age out, that you will make sure that the legacy continues and that y'all step up, get involved, and make it your own.
Oh, we will.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Obelia next. You're muted.
You're on mute.
I was saying we can't hear you.
She's so excited she forgot to unmute.
She's working on it.
Yeah, I said I love that statement, you all. And I realized as I was talking about graphic design, I said, oh, I forgot the part about formatting for self-roll printing and social media, that type of thing. I do want to add that in there. All the formats I have to create for that. I've really richly, as long as I've been here, I really believe that the AACC, being a part of that celebration is just such a rich history. Even when Emily was reading it just then, I started getting so excited. I love the fact that it just covers the state, all of what we do, our history is all about, and just the state of North Carolina. So I'm going to add that. I love Emily's statement as we age out. The younger people are coming forth and just taking this torch and making it even greater than what it is. And just my last thought here, every meeting I go to when it comes to AACC, I always tell Emily, I say, oh, I only have a few minutes, and I get in there and present graphic design and we talk about it. Then I tell Emily, oh, I just stay for the whole event because it's so rich and there's so much given from the community and so many, just an array of people out there that we're telling stories and histories about. So to me, it is by and far one of the just the riches when it comes down to heritage. It's such a wonderful a joy, not only committee, but just a celebration to go on for the state of North Carolina. I thoroughly enjoyed. I enjoy the graphic design, being that graphic designer and being a part of that as well. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Mr. Blades.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry. I'm definitely very excited to attend this event, and it's really encouraging to see, especially this is my second semester at Wake Tech, that they're passionate about like supporting these types of events and sharing these. And the food bank is definitely looking to align itself with more DEI events and more cultural events like this. So thank you so much for inviting me on. So.
Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Blaze. And also to our viewers at home, we just wanted to say that Elizabeth City State and NCANT students will also be partners with the museum virtually. And then also the Michael Ure Show might decide to show up to do the opening ceremonies and perhaps do some interviews at the same time. And then ECSU is also broadcasting live on their radio station. So many things going on at once. Just wanted to give you guys all the information so you can pick and choose what works best for you. And yeah, it was incredible having you guys on. So much wonderful information from both Miss Emily, both Miss Obelia, and
Blaze as well. Yes.
And Mr. Blaze as well.
I know.
And of course, as Miss Emily was saying, everyone is welcome to this event. Just show up on the day. There's so much to offer. There's food. Just come. That's all you need to do. Once again, my name is Hewitt, and alongside my co-host, Damien Johnson.
It's nice to meet everybody. Thank you all for being here. I don't want to steal all of you guys' time, so we are at about 50 minutes or so. If there's any more questions in the chat, please feel free to drop them. We'll probably stay open till a few more minutes. as I'm reading through the comments right now. Everybody seems really excited though. That's so nice to hear. I think you're gonna have a great show out over there. I know I'm definitely gonna, make it a stance and appear by.
Yeah, we both will, and definitely. I mean, we at least got 20 people from the show that will show up.
Awesome.
I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go. Taj, is there like an event that you're kind of looking forward to? I think one that I'm really looking forward to is the storytelling. I don't know why, but I'm really interested in going to that, watching it, and seeing how that kind of plays out. Because I want to know how much you can truly evoke from. There's some good books in there.
I agree. And the storytelling and just the music in general, because I remember being at the reception and the harp that was being played there was just absolutely breathtaking. Sometimes it was so melodic that you forgot it was there, and it was just like a tune playing in your head.
Yeah.
So the storytelling, the music.
I'm looking forward to that electric violin. I think it's already getting flagged up. That's gonna be.
I'm looking forward to that.
You're looking forward to that too.
Well, I will tell y'all too. There is the very last. I didn't mention this. There's always. I know that you're thinking, what did she not mention? But we're closing out the auditorium. We usually close out the auditorium with a big band. And this year, I'm kind of interested because I've only heard snippets of this band, but this is their first. It's their first show here at the museum, and they're called the Mark Sylvie and the Wandering Disciples, and they play every kind of music I think I've ever heard. It's like but they're not a cover band. So they told me one time that really, if you do your homework, that all music is Black music. So and I know they're going to be talking a little bit about that, about playing different styles of music. They're all playing their own compositions. It's all their own music. They're not covering other people's, but they're going to be explaining kind of this concept and helping people like hear components and different styles of music. So I'm really looking forward to that. I tell people we've had this event has given voice to folks that kind of, grow up and like do big things. Like we had the Carolina Chocolate Drops before anybody knew who the Carolina Chocolate Drops were. And we had Rizzy Palmer on the stage when she was really young, before people knew who Rizzy Palmer was. And we had Tyler, the violin player that went on America's Got Talent. We had him here. I'm thinking maybe this band will be the next. I'm sort of curious to see if they'll be the next one that gets more fame and fortune after they play at the Museum of History.
I definitely hope so. That sounds really interesting. I'm kind of curious to see, because I can see how they're gonna, start putting the pieces together for sure.
Right.
Definitely. Right. So we've
basically
that's everything, right? We've covered it. Do any of the panelists have a question for anybody else, perhaps? Or I'm trying to see perhaps if we might have more questions in the comments. But if not, we can go ahead and close it out. I don't want to steal any more time for any of you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. It was just an amazing,
Really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the 28th.
Of course, we'll see you soon.
All right.
You have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Of course.